Yeah, I really do. I just want to hear about your trip.
I can tell you.
Well, tell us.
I can tell you some of it.
What? I don't know if I want to know all of it.
Well, you might.
Oh.
Once you hear the first part.
Okay. Well, I'm ready. Go for it.
I'm just kidding. No, it was fun. It was so everybody talks about the whole Mexico thing, right? Like you're taking your life in your own hands, and we heard all of that before we went. And we were staying in a very nice resort. It's my buddy. It's a timeshare, and I think I told you about this. That it really, I say that a lot. I know, it really is a pretty cool place because they have 14 restaurants on the property, and they've got 10 pools, and it's right on the beach in Puerto Vallarta. So. Interestingly, though, you say, well, Puerto Vallarta, that's very nice. That's like going into Illinois on the weekend. And it kind of is, except the couple we were with, the guy managed to get just a little touch of Montezuma's revenge because we went into Puerto Vallarta.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
so going over to Illinois for someone
Yes.
who went to school in St. Louis means something completely different than I think you're saying it as.
Maybe, but if you used to go to like Quincy or East St. Louis,
East St. Louis, yeah.
Did you go in for mainly because you could drink?
No.
Okay. Why did you go there? Hookers?
No.
Okay.
They had great food carts. Anyway.
So yeah, East St. Louis is a well-known area of cultural entertainment. Yes.
Yes, cultural. That's a very nice way of saying it. Cultural entertainment. Mm-hmm.
Right. I will digress. So anyway, but you go into Puerto Vallarta and it's very nice. And there was a restaurant at which they had eaten the last time they went, and they wanted to take us there, and we're all excited. So we walked up and down the marketplace in Puerto Vallarta, which is very cool, quite interesting. Stopped and had a drink on the way, which you have to do by law. And then we thought we would just do a quick stop at a public restroom, and we forget that you typically wash your hands after you use the restroom. The water that you use when you wash your hands is not anything that you want to mess with. And unlike the resort we were staying in, that everything is filtered and chlorinated and so on. So it kills any of the bacteria that cause that sort of thing, but not in downtown Puerto Vallarta. So when we got to this restaurant after washing our hands and so on, I was very careful not to touch my face because I was thinking about it. And I immediately went into the restroom at the restaurant and soaped up and washed my hands really well and came out and ate. Well, my buddy Matt did not.
Oh, no.
And I'm convinced that is probably what caused it. And it didn't come on until late that night, but he was up the whole night. And they have a doctor on premises at this resort. I mean, it's a huge place. And the guy came to the room and gave him some Cithromax, or it's some sort of an antibiotic to kill that. And,
wow.
And so slow recovery, but oh my gosh, it put a damper on at least 2 days for him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you got to watch that stuff. I would be perfectly fine in this resort and never go downtown in Puerto Vallarta because the resort was that nice. So anyway, it was very good. It was a lot of fun. Not only did it have the beach from the bay right in front of Puerto Vallarta and Nuevo Vallarta, it also had all these great pools. And I'm more of a pool guy than a beach guy. Are you beach centric?
No, it really depends. I do enjoy waves. So if there's a good wave set and I can go and play with that, boogie board or body surf or something like that, or just even bob in the waves, I love that. But everything else about it, the sand in your feet, the sitting out on the beach, just kind of roasting in the sun, not necessarily my bag. I would prefer to be in a pool at that point. So
yeah, I'm with you. I'm the pool guy, but I do. Oh, you're gonna love this. They have a lazy river that probably goes, I'm gonna guess maybe half a mile.
Nice.
Or so.
I'd be there.
So
the
yeah,
whole
it's
time.
a nice long one, but there is a section of it that once every 10 minutes or something like that, it has a wave generator
Oh, fun.
in the lazy river. So you're coming down real lazily on the river, and you get to this section that's just off to the side, and the wave generator starts. And I mean, these are 3-foot waves, so it's not quite as lazy as it was before. But
Sure.
we found ourselves just parking in front of that thing, waiting for it to start because it was so much fun.
See, I would be there the whole time. I wouldn't need the beach at that point. Give me some waves. That
Yeah.
would be a blast. The only thing that would make it better, and I bet you if once I say this, you're going to say, oh, they had that, is a lazy river swim up bar.
They did not have that in the lazy river, but it was probably 10 steps away when you got out of the lazy river.
There you go. That's the one thing that I miss on the beach too, is just if there was a bar. Not necessarily on the beach, but in the water.
Yeah, and it's funny too because you'll see people who spend most of the day at the swim up bar.
Yeah.
And so their suntan is from the water level up to the tops of their shoulder, and usually they're, burned completely.
Right.
Because they lose track of time and brain cells while they're there.
That's funny.
But oh my gosh, yeah, and trying to and my buddy Matt is a ginger, so he's
even worse.
Yeah, he puts 50 on and then kind of follows the shade around as it goes. But anyway, it's pretty funny to watch people because you see some awesome tan lines after 2 or 3 days, especially from Midwesterners in December who have no idea how bad they're getting burned.
The reason my wife and I chose the island that we went to for our honeymoon was because it was inexpensive, but also because it had a swim up bar.
Because of the bar?
Because of the bar, yeah. It was just really cool. It's kind of a tiki bar-ish thing. And
the place was a dump, but it had a really nice bar.
Actually, it was really, really nice. It was the island that all of the actors stayed at for the filming of Pirates of the Caribbean. So this was St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the island is called Young Island. But a week before we went, there was a hurricane, and it blew the bar away. So the bar didn't exist when we got there. We were so disappointed. We still had a blast, obviously. But yeah. Oh, I just banged my microphone.
Did you hit it with your head?
No, that was with my hand. I was going to scratch my nose.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, you can. Well, I'm just going to leave that alone because I don't think other people know that you were not really scratching your nose. That's
my nose is very. I've got a very big nose. It's a huge nose.
It is not. It's very fine for your face. Well, I mean, let's face it. You have a massive head.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
No, you don't. It's very.
No.
It's petite.
Are you talking about physical head or ego?
Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Probably a really good idea.
So we. It was a really fun place, and there were a lot of. But seriously, the restaurants were incredible. I cannot even tell you how good the service was, how terrific the food was, and that's the nice part about going someplace like that they kind of take all the question marks out. And this is a company. It's called Vedanta. I guess I can use them, and I'm sure they'll be sponsoring us now.
I'm sure. Yeah,
it's
just like everyone else.
I have to learn to speak Spanish, though. But the beauty of that is that they've been in business 45 years. So they have made all the mistakes. They know what to do. And man, they are constantly building this empire. It's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The Mexican Ritz-Carlton.
I wouldn't say it's that, but it's sure the Mexican Marriott.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you use your Marriott points?
I wish.
Yeah, me too.
That would be nice. Well, and we have a deal worked out with our friends that because it's their timeshare, they handle what it essentially costs for the upgrade to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I mean, it's an awesome little, like a condo almost, full kitchen and, all of that. And then I just pay for the airfare.
Nice.
And then we split whatever we spend, on food and blah, 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 as we're there for the week. So anyway, it's really cool. And I just keep reminding myself that we all need to take that time sometimes. And we don't always, It's not always at the top of my priority list, but it should be because it was really nice.
That's good. It must be an age thing because I cannot. We've talked about this many times, whether it
Yeah.
be a sickness or vacation. I can't sit for more than a couple of days without having to get back to work. And even if it's not work, it's, I've got to be doing some sort of project.
Sorry, I clicked the mute button. The thing that I notice is that it takes me 3 days to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as bad as it used to be. When I was in retail, it was a lot worse, because, and I don't know about you, but it was way more stressful than my job is today. And I know your job, but I don't know how it affects you. Maybe it is an age thing, because the older I get, the less I'm affected by it.
Right.
But
You've also probably read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
You've recommended it more than once.
I have. It's a great book.
Well,
his follow-up wasn't as good, but the first one was great.
I wouldn't frame it as that necessarily. For me, it's more of a lack of micromanaging.
Right. Well, and so that actually, just to clarify, that book's title is a little bit misleading, because that's what he's not saying don't give a fuck about anything. He is seriously talking about pick and choose what you actually care about.
Sure.
Or what will. It's kind of that whole thing when, if you look at something goes wrong, there's a hiccup at your job or something like that. Can you do anything about it? Yes or no? Will it affect your life? Yes or no? If you answer no to both of those things, then it doesn't really matter. So move on and get something else done. That's kind of
compartmentalizing.
Exactly. And just kind of, not worrying about the stuff that you can't control.
Well, and that's good advice anyway, for sure.
Absolutely. It's just phrased a different way. And that's sometimes the same advice, as long as it's phrased a different way, is going to be more effective for some people. For me, the subtle art of not giving a fuck is very effective.
Well, let's face it, that it sounds like clickbait to me.
It is. That's exactly what it is. But it's all psychology.
Nickbait.
Nickbait. Yep. Potty bait.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's not. Let's move away from that
sound
one.
as good. Yeah.
No.
I like nickbait.
I'm going to use that hashtag nickbait.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd do that, because there could be some confusion around that too.
That's true.
People wondering if you really did hit the mic with your hand.
Right.
Anyway. So thank you for asking. It was a really nice time. I felt regenerated after getting back.
You sound regenerated.
Yeah,
you regenerated a cold.
Well, and that's the problem. We came back on Saturday, and we were smart about it this time, because last time we went 2 years ago, we connected through Minneapolis. And it's unfortunate that when you go to customs and you connect through, I'm sure it's any other airport as well, but through Minneapolis in particular, you have to get your bags, go through customs, and then you have to recheck your bags again.
Yeah.
And it is the biggest cluster ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made a deal that we were not connecting this year. So I had to go with a different airline that I normally do. And they were fine. But it was nice because we actually drove to Chicago, spent the night before, and then hopped on a plane at O'Hare and came back the same way, parked our car at the hotel. And then we just grabbed the car and drove home when we were back. So it actually worked out great, and not having to connect was amazing.
That's awesome. Are you closer to Chicago than you are to Minneapolis?
Yes.
Okay.
Chicago is without traffic, it's about an hour and 45, let's say.
Oh, that's not bad.
O'Hare.
And Minneapolis is 2.5.
Minneapolis is about 4.5. 4 to 4.5. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
you can get from Minneapolis to Chicago in 4.5 hours.
No, you can't. Not unless you have some sort of a jet.
Or Leadfoot.
Or that.
I swear it's that close. But I have been wrong before.
What?
Not very often, but it happens. I'm allowed one a year.
Do a Google Maps, and let's do it right now.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, I'm going to. You know why?
No.
Because I have to.
Oh.
Because this is what I do.
Well, don't
And
get Google sick, okay?
if there's a chance of proving you wrong, I want to.
But I just admitted that I could be wrong. So why do you have to prove that I am?
Because I think it's important to clarify that for our listeners.
Oh, it's a PSA type of thing.
It is. It's very much that because
since you phrased it like that or put it in that
you
context,
actually did, yeah.
Go for it.
Here we go, Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. Via I-94 East, the fastest way, 4 hours and 27 minutes.
Look at you.
290 miles. So I was pretty darn close.
You were very close.
Without going over. I guess I did go over. So you can do it faster. Chicago, in my experience, and I've done that a couple of times, tack on an extra hour and a half from the northwest suburbs. So it's about 6 typically. And that's with no traffic because Chicago is always a crapshoot. Minneapolis can be a little bit depending upon when you're getting in.
Yes.
Don't shit.
Sorry. There's a smell up here and it smells not good, like dog poop. And I would be very disappointed if my dogs did that. Second of all, I don't see anything and it's a very small room, so I don't know why. Maybe there's a dog up here farting.
Had that.
I think maybe it might be a dog fart.
Are your dogs farters?
Yes, they are.
My dog, so we had one, our previous dog was. And so you just kind of, and I blame it on Lisa.
Sure.
But this dog is not. It is, when he does, he has some problems going on. So you get a little scared when that happens. But yeah, anytime I smell it, there's something. Who dealt it, right?
Do you hear all the dogs outside now?
I don't.
Oh, well, that's good. I do, very clearly.
I don't at all. It must be the wonderful setup of your home studio.
Yes, must be. That's
it. Yes, that's it. How's your weather today?
It is sunny, and it will be about 50 degrees today, which is kind of funny.
Are you changing this line of questioning?
Am I, what?
Oh, shucks. You cut out for a second there.
Oh,
that was weird.
That was weird.
Or I did.
Let me try that again. It's sunny and about 50 degrees today, or will be at least 50 degrees today.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I would ride the Harley in 50 degrees.
Yes, you would. And I will probably go out and do some yard work today. I don't know. But my aunt, and so the weather's been actually fairly nice recently. The weather people keep getting it wrong, per usual. And there was a big long, I think it was either Twitter or Facebook conversation, because I'm a part of a group on Facebook that's our community. So I live in Nashville technically, but we are an annexed part of Nashville called Bellevue. Sure. And there's a Bellevue Facebook page. So people were complaining about the fact, and this was earlier in the week, I was actually in Cincinnati, and on, I think, Wednesday, it was supposed to snow and get about 1 to 3 inches here in Nashville, which is a lot for Nashville.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened. Like I guess it flurried a little and there was a little bit of rain, but that was it. So not even close to, not even a dusting of snow. So everyone went to this page and started just blasting all of the weather people because there was nothing. And they were getting everyone fired up, It was
and they wanted snow, of course.
Yeah, they wanted snow. And of course, because it's 1 to 3 inches, everyone went to the grocery store and cleaned the grocery stores
up on water.
Exactly,
and supplies,
water and bread.
Yes.
Yeah, the staples. So yeah, they got really pissed, but it's so they have forecasted rain pretty much the entire weekend and into next week with a little bit of snow possibility. But again, it's 50 degrees and sunny.
When is or how often do you have white Christmases there?
Never.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've never had a white Christmas here. It snowed, but then, since we've been here, no.
Oh, okay.
They probably have in some past life, but
I never know.
So my aunt came down from Minnesota to see Peyton in the Nutcracker.
Awesome.
And when she left, it was snowing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, of course, this is like going to the beach for her because it's 50 degrees. When she woke up the day that she came, it was -2, I think. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Very happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she's also like me. She likes the cold. I get that from her probably. I don't remember if my mom liked the cold or not.
Remind me again where home is for her.
Minneapolis.
Okay. Yeah, it's been markedly colder there than it has here
It's been a cold start
this
to the
year.
season. Very
Yeah.
cold. Not necessarily, well, I mean, I'm sure there's snowy places, but not necessarily snowy for a lot of us. I know the East Coast has been getting hit a lot. You guys have snow right now, right?
No, not on the
No?
ground.
Okay. So
Nope.
I think Minneapolis has snow a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just been cold. The polar vortex.
Yeah, the cold is not good. You know what bothers me is when they start naming winter storms now.
Oh, I know. That's a little ridiculous.
That's
I could,
stupid. Winter Storm Albert
yeah.
now coming in. He's putting his attention on. Shut up.
It just goes to show you that everything is marketing now.
Oh, that's true for sure. But that's the 24-hour news and 24-hour weather cycle. You know,
Yep. Yeah.
it's
No, I think it's
ridiculous. They
absolutely
just do
ridiculous.
stuff to fill space.
Yeah. However, that being said, as everyone knows, I would rather be going back to Minnesota with -2 degrees than staying here at 50 degrees.
Because you don't have a Harley
Well, that is true. I do not have a Harley.
yet.
No. Maybe I'll get a Harley Quinn puppet for Christmas or
Wow.
something. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
It has
that's
Harley in
nice.
the name.
Nice reach for that.
It was a long reach. My arms are getting longer day by day.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever, and I'm saying this because I'm just looking on my phone, I get notifications because I've got Samsung Pay when my card is used for anything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good. And I noticed a couple of charges this morning.
Okay.
One was Uber, and you and I use Uber
Yep.
from time to time, and so it said Uber pre-auth, and it was $1.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, that's normal. Gas stations often do that, a small pre-authorization and
Sure,
so
but
on.
did you use Uber?
I did not because
There you
it was dated yesterday when I was in bed all day with this stupid cold. So that was kind of a red flag. And then I saw $1.42 from some restaurant called Moe's Burritos.
Oh yeah, Moe's Southwest Burritos. It's a
Never
great
heard
restaurant.
Never heard of it. So what I'll say is I was not at Moe's, number one. And number two, if I ever go to Moe's Burritos, the bill's going to be a hell of a lot more than $1.42.
Right. So did you
It'll
call the
be
bank?
probably $28. And yes, and so it's an Amex. They canceled it immediately, which is great. And I've seen this has happened to me before on other credit cards. They do little charges at first, and then there's a massive one suddenly.
Yep.
And
They're testing the
that's how
card.
they do it. So
Yeah,
I
I just had something like
quite
that
lucky
happen.
to do. Did you on your
Yep.
card?
Uh-huh. On my, and it's a card that we don't even use. It's connected to my bank account, so it's kind of like it's a safety net overdraft card.
Like a debit?
It's an Amex.
Okay.
There's a long story to why we have it. It was never
Sure.
intended to be that, but we just never activated the cards. So the cards are sitting in a file cabinet somewhere unactivated, and we've literally just used it as an emergency backup, right? Because
Okay.
it's easy to pay off. And then all of a sudden I get a call from the bank, and I thought the call was fraudulent, but it wasn't. And then I called what I usually do when I get a call from a bank or something is I don't answer it. I don't talk to them. Or even if I do, I don't give them any information and I hang up.
Right.
And then I
Smart.
go in and I get the actual number to the bank and then I call them back. That way I know I'm connected to the real bank.
Smart.
Yeah. And then so they said, yeah, there was a $1 charge from whatever place it was. I don't even remember. And, we just wanted to make sure that was either you, but normally when it's such a small charge at a place like this, it's like a Bed Bath & Beyond. It's usually someone trolling and someone's got your number and they're just testing. And they walked me through it all. And I'm like, yeah, and I explained to him, I said, I don't even have the cards activated. So there's no way that could have been us because we don't use this account because it's zeroed out. And so, yeah, they did the same thing, canceled all the cards and sent us new ones. And yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's you got to watch it, and that's frankly the card companies now are much more. I'm sure there are new laws in place that I'm not privy to, but they are very helpful when it comes to that stuff. And so it's six days before I get my new card replacement, but And 20 years ago, that would have been a big problem
Oh yeah.
because I
Yep.
only usually ran with one card that I
Well,
qualified for back in the old days.
I think it's probably, if I were to guess, they would probably rather reimburse $1 or $2.25 than they would $1,500.
Well, they were very appreciative because that's just it. If you don't notice that stuff, you notice the $500 one. You don't notice the $1.40.
Right.
So it just flukily happened that I looked at the entry when I got the notification on my phone.
So how often do you check your bank account or any of your credit cards?
Well, I get very seldom. I mean, I pay them, and I do that at least monthly, if not, depending upon the balance, a couple times a month. But I get the notifications now.
Right.
I resisted Samsung Pay for a long time, and I'm not sure why. Just because I very seldom use it in the way it's intended. But it's kind of nice to have all your cards in the same place,
Yeah.
So. Anyway, but that's that they send notifications every time the card is used, every time.
Yeah.
So you know how you are with your phone. If you get a text, I'm going to look and see who it is, and it's the same thing with that. So
Yep. I have the same. I have Apple Pay, and that's the same thing. My Amex doesn't tell me, and I can turn it on. But if someone uses the card in person, it won't tell me. But anytime it's the card is not present, it shoots me a text that says this was used. I love it. It's a great feature. But I'm kind of a freak. I check my accounts daily, and it's just for that, just to see if there's something unusual in there.
But you get notifications, don't you?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Oh wow!
I wake up in the morning. I check my email. I check the weather, and I check my bank accounts. I know I'm a little bit freakish about that, but I don't.
A little bit.
Yeah. Again, we talked about security in the past, and what I do to try to stay secure, and that's just one of the things that I do.
Well,
I will be all over, and I've caught it plenty of times. The only time I have ever been caught, or let me say, it took longer than a day for me to catch something, was someone had hacked my Starbucks card, my Starbucks account. And what they did was because I had it connected to one of my credit cards, is they kept charging $25 to renew the card, then transferring that $25 off of my account. And they did that, and they got up to $450 before I caught them.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't check my Starbucks account every day.
No. And you know what? So I have a Starbucks account. I just never use the card or never use the
app.
The pay on my phone, because when you and I are on the road, we use the corporate card. And
I'll have to tell you a trick afterwards.
Oh, a trick. Yeah, good.
Because
I like when
I'm all
I
about
talk
getting
about
the
corporate
points.
card, and you're going to tell me a trick.
Yeah, well, you still use all of this stuff, but it's there. Yeah, it's a trick. There's a trick to it.
Oh, and that's attaching it to your account so you get credit.
No, because you can't do that, because that's the charge is too big. They won't let you do that. I'll tell you afterwards. I'm not going to give away all my secrets on the podcast.
Well, I think you just did give away one of your big ones, that you're a freak who checks his bank account every morning.
Well, that's not a secret, though.
Well, not anymore.
I'm proud to say that I'm a freak about stuff like that.
Well, it's good, but it's like overkill if you're getting notifications, isn't it?
How is it overkill if it only takes me 10 minutes to do every day?
Well, that's 10 minutes that you could be eating, or I don't know, having relations with television shows or YouTube videos.
No, I do that at night. I try not to do that during the day.
Why? Because you're checking your bank account.
Exactly. I check the bank account, and then I go downstairs and I read a novel.
You're a freak. Wow. Yes, the king of overkill, Nick Kubik, ladies and gentlemen.
That's me. It's over, Nick.
Over Nick. Wow. I don't think so.
No, I'm just trying to get something to stick.
You're doing very well.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. You're very sticky.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nice Elvis. What is going on in your world? We have not really spoken for a while, just because I was gone and all of that.
Right, but I did send you a link to the new trailer for the new Ghostbusters.
When?
And I sent was it the Ghostbusters or was it something else? The two things I'm most excited about.
Ghostbusters movie. I got you.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters movie.
you were saying trailer, and I'm thinking of Bill doing a trailer for us. Wait, Bill is doing a trailer, and it looks like the Ghostbusters ambulance.
Oh, Bill, I know you're listening.
I love
That's
us.
what we want. The
Yes,
potty pod. We want a Ghostbusters potty pod.
Ghosty Potty Pod.
Ghosty potty pod. Ghosty pod. Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna have to work on that.
I'm really working on it. So the two
Yeah.
things I'm really excited about, though, both are coming in the summer, which, I wish
Yep.
they would be out now or somewhere where it's not so hot. The new Wonder Woman 1984 has a new trailer that they let out here recently, and then the new Ghostbusters Afterlife, which looks really, really cool.
Well, I have to tell you that when I looked at it, I thought at first I'm going, really? They're turning this hilarious comedy into like a sci-fi thing. And the more I watched the trailer, I thought, oh, you know what? That's a pretty good idea.
So speaking of, there
Yes.
is a new program on Netflix, The Movies That Made Us. I think that's what it's titled. It's something like that. And my wife and I watched one or two episodes. The first one was on, oh boy, I can't remember. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull it up. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it.
It is so rude that you're going on Google while we're
I'm not on
recording.
Google.
That's just rude.
But I'm not on Google. The Movies That Made Us. Oh, the first one was on Dirty Dancing and how it almost didn't get made and that it's actually a low-budget movie. And then there was one on Ghostbusters. And interestingly enough, Dan Aykroyd was the one, I'm sure everyone knows that, who wrote the original script for Ghostbusters. And it was supposed to be Ghostbusters in the future in space. So I thought it was very interesting how they got to where they ended up. And so this particular one, we may have talked about this in the past. I say that all the time. I apologize, everyone, but it's true. We talk about a lot of stuff.
Do we ever?
We really do. Anyway,
can we just assume that everything we talk about we have talked about before?
I want to assume that, and I tried that, especially when we were talking about something earlier in the podcast. Yeah. You notice I didn't say we've talked about this before, but I know we did. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Anyway, so we had talked about. Now I lost my train of thought, John.
It's okay.
It was Ghostbusters. We were talking about Ghostbusters at some point in the past,
yes.
But I remember now. So we had the Ghostbusters in 1984, and then we had the next one in 1987 or 88, and then the third one was approved. It was not written by, but it was approved by the original Ghostbusters or Dan Aykroyd, and that was the one with the all-female cast that went completely off to left field. It was not really following in the vein of Ghostbusters, and it really ticked a lot of Ghostbusters fans off.
Concur.
I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's a great movie. It just shouldn't have been a Ghostbusters, and that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah.
So this one is actually written by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who is the director of the original Ghostbusters.
Yep,
and also the one.
And he has passed away, unfortunately.
Who, Ivan Reitman?
Yes.
No.
I think he has. No, not Ivan. Who played Egon?
Yeah, he passed away. So, and that's where I'm getting.
Okay, sorry.
So this, but this has always been in the works. This third Ghostbusters, they're considering it the third Ghostbusters because they don't want to look at the actual third Ghostbusters and count that because it doesn't make the storyline go forward.
Correct.
Which a lot of the original Ghostbusters had cameos in there, but they weren't playing their Ghostbusters characters. In this one, they're actually playing their Ghostbusters characters. I was curious because of Egon passing away, how are they going to carry on the story? Well, how they've done it, if you were paying really close attention to the trailer, is these kids that they're showing are the grandchildren of Egon.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's how they're carrying the story forward. And I think that was a genius idea, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well,
and I was watching a breakdown of the trailer and people's, because they have bigger nerds than me that will break these down and try to get little Easter eggs out of it. And one that I heard said that this is bringing it full circle because they're looking at a mine because in the original one, the tower that they built was built out of a very special metal, which is what conducted all of the paranormal activity.
Right.
And he said they're showing a lot of mining work and a lot of little Easter eggs that point to the fact that this could be the town where they mined that material.
Huh.
Yeah, which is why they have paranormal activity there and why Egon had a lab there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just based on the trailer, I was impressed with the direction it was taking. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then have you looked at the trailer for Wonder Woman 1984?
No, and I won't.
Oh, why not?
Because it does not have. Is it Gal Gadot?
Yeah,
Oh my
Gal
goodness.
Gadot.
She's in it.
Yes, she's Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, in the new one, but what's the 1984 thing?
That's the title of it. It's 1984. So the first Wonder Woman movie was back during World War I.
Oh, she's going to be older now.
Well, no, because she doesn't age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's lucky.
Yeah, you should watch it. There's a great there's a song from Blue Oyster Cult in it that they do for the trailer, and they updated it. It's really good.
A song that they recorded here. It's not Don't Fear the Reaper, is it?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be. They've been playing a lot of Scream lately. Speaking of Don't Fear the Reaper,
You've been Scream?
Staying at hotels, and these are hotels for some reason that don't have the option to watch the Netflix or YouTube or anything on the TVs.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm stuck watching real TV, and but they've been playing a lot of Scream, like Scream 1 and Scream 2 have been on television lately. I'm like, that's a weird time of year. It's not really a Christmas movie.
No. Well, why don't you just hop on your laptop?
I do.
Well, I would do that long before I subjected myself to watching regular TV.
I know. I don't even know why I did that. I think I just wanted the background noise while I was working.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
I understand that.
If I'm actually watching something, I usually watch it on my iPad if I don't have access to that sort of thing.
Okay, since we've had Peyton on the show,
yeah,
this is a really good transition. Maybe not. That's how my transitions go. I would love to hear about Peyton's playing in the Nutcracker because it's pretty darn awesome.
Yeah. She will have performed 4 times. And which is interesting. I was trying to figure out, okay, do they have one cast and then they just rotate the kids through? No, they actually have 4 different casts.
Wow.
So 4 different Sugar Plum Fairies, 4 different Mother Gingers, and then 4 different kids casts. So it's 4 different shows. And then she performs 4 times at TPAC, the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, with the Nashville Ballet. And that's really, really cool. And then there's also a connection, too. I've spoken in the past about my family who lives in San Francisco, the ones we didn't know existed until recently. They're all musicians, or most of them are musicians. And they have a really good friend. They all went to Berkeley and in San Francisco or near San Francisco. And they have, I don't know if it's a friend or just an acquaintance who is a conductor. And he has come from Berkeley and is conducting the orchestra for the Nashville Ballet, Nutcracker. So that's pretty cool. And which is why my aunt's here and why we're kind of crazy this time of year right now, just in general. But yeah, we're really excited. We've got a lot of people coming in to see her. And it's going to be fun. And she's only on stage for, a minute and a half or 2 minutes out of a 2-hour show.
Awesome. And she's on stage with the ballet.
Yeah.
And how cool is that? She's got to just be really excited about it, isn't she?
And actually, she's been sick for the past 4 or 5 days. She's had a fever and stuff like that. You're not allowed to rehearse or even show for the show because they don't want the quote-unquote real ballerinas or ballet dancers to get sick.
Yep.
But so we have been drugging her, and she has stayed home from school, and because she is so excited. Like yesterday, she was fine. She hasn't had a fever for a while, but we just thought, okay, this week is a big week, so let's keep her home from school. Yep. Actually, it wasn't last night. It was yesterday, a couple days ago. Let's keep her home from school anyways because she had a very late rehearsal, and then it was coming time for the rehearsal, and we looked at her and said, "Are you sure you want to go?" Because I know you're not necessarily feeling all that great. You don't have a fever or anything, but you're not necessarily feeling all that great. And she'd been doing her favorite thing, watching TV all day, which usually when we try to get her to do anything when she's been watching TV, we're met with a huge fight. And she's like, no, I want to go. So remember, I was saying that she keeps telling us she doesn't want to dance and doesn't want to do this while she's dancing around the kitchen. It's a perfect example of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's so excited.
Well, and she's been in ballet for how long now? How long has she been?
Pretty much her whole life. We just
studying?
posted I didn't post it. There was a picture that came up in my Facebook feed, and it was Peyton at like 8 months old in Jen's arms backstage during a performance.
Wow.
So we call that her first performance.
That's accurate, probably.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, that is very cool. What a wonderful thing, and how cool that so many friends and relatives are participating too.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I'm excited. She's excited.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand it. Now that my son is 28 or whatever he is, something like that, we don't have any moments like that anymore. So we just are waiting for our granddaughter to grow up so we can get her involved in that. I don't mean that. My son does awesome stuff anyway. They went, when he was in college, to Carnegie Hall.
Oh, wow. Cool.
The band from UW Whitewater played at Carnegie Hall. And so Lisa and I flew out there. And in no way am I saying this to like top or whatever. It's just a piling on because as parents,
that's what we do.
Proud
That's our
of
job.
Our kids. Yeah. Anyway, so we did the whole New York thing. They were staying. I had Hilton points, and I knew you'd appreciate that. So I'm staying at the Hilton downtown in New York City, and it's we're 5 blocks from the Carnegie Deli, which I think since is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Had like an $80 lunch there. And
so you only had one sandwich?
Oh my gosh. Well, we only had 2. So I had one, which is massive. They were famous for, the piled high corned beef or whatever. So I had that, and Lisa and Michael shared one. And it was 80 some bucks after drinks. And yeah, I know it was awesome, but it's something you got to do. And that's great. And then we had a nice dinner out one night because he was there with the whole band. And anyway, so we got to see him play, and gosh, it was really impressive. Very, very fun, and something you'll never forget.
Yeah. I love New York. One of my old companies that I worked for was a startup, had an office in New York. So I spent a good amount of time there. And that's how to do New York. You only stay there for a week or 2, and you do it on someone else's time.
Yeah, for sure that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure that. And I'm not as big a fan. It's okay. It's just that's not my MO anymore. Is go to the busiest metropolitan area on the continent, and almost the busiest. I guess Mexico City would be busier, but it's just. It's you got to go with the right mindset. It's kind of like going to New Orleans,
right? Absolutely, and that's
having
really
the right mindset,
and the right liver,
and the right liver. Well, that's New Orleans, yeah. That's see at Pat O'Brien's for hurricanes.
Exactly.
That. Oh my gosh.
Or oysters and beer. You have to have a very good constitution.
Well, if you don't, you will have one by the time you're done. and you can have that colonoscopy you've been waiting for.
Exactly. It'll clean you right out.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yes. So anyway, New York City is kind of its own. It has its own personality, and it's totally different from L.A. Totally different from Chicago. But it's a wonderful place to make memories. That's for sure.
Yes. Yes.
But I couldn't live there.
No, it definitely would have to be one of those situations. And in New York, you would have to make a lot of money. But it was one of those situations where you'd have an apartment in the city, and then you'd have a farm somewhere or a house on a lake somewhere.
And a lot of people do.
And a lot of people do. Actually, when we were there, I was there with a coworker who had some friends that lived there, and they had one car, and they had they had 2 one-bedroom apartments that were connected. And I mean, they were tiny, tiny, tiny apartments on the upper east side, I think, or lower east side. I think it was on the, yeah. Anyway, it was a very nice neighborhood, very small apartments, connected through a wall, and they paid like $4,000 a month just for those two little apartments. And their one car sat for 9 months out of the year.
Oh,
The only time they moved it was to move it to the other side of the street so the snowplow could go through. But the only reason they had that car was because it was easier to get to the Hamptons.
wow.
Yeah. And that's all they used it for. Like once, maybe twice a year is they would drive to the Hamptons in that car.
And that's it? Once or twice a year?
Yep.
Aren't there trains that go from Grand Central
I would
or
think
anything?
so. And I think this was a while ago, so I'm sure I asked the question, but they said it was easier. And they had a kid or two. So I think it was just easier and even less expensive just to have, and it was a little Subaru hatchback or a Subaru station wagon.
Yep.
So it wasn't a fancy car by any means, but
I just think of all the hassle of moving it, and jumping through all those hoops.
right. Yeah,
We've
especially
all
when you're
watched
trying
Seinfeld.
I think that was the part, the reason they didn't use it all that much is because of parking.
Oh gosh.
Once they got the
yeah.
parking spot, they didn't want to lose it.
Oh,
So-
I see. Yeah.
So
I
when
guess
they were in the
that's-
city, they just took public transit, but when they actually left the city, they took the car.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, especially from a parking perspective, because that really is a game changer. And that's frankly why a lot of people, not just New York, but Chicago as well, those that live downtown, a lot of folks in lofts and they're wonderful buildings, beautiful places, but they've gotten rid of their cars if they work downtown or
Right.
work remotely,
Right.
because it's
Well, now with car sharing
parking
too.
is $400 or $500 a month.
Yeah, I would be curious to know if this family still has their car or if they've jumped on the car share bandwagon, because that would make it a lot easier if you've got a car share.
Sure would.
You don't have to rent a car, but you still have access to one.
That doesn't fit in probably because of my age, but I think it's the car business background too. I want to own my car, or I want to have my own car, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so it's tough to get into that mindset, but I sure wouldn't mind Ubering or that's the beauty of having such a huge population, is there are so many different ways to get around
Yes.
in New York City that it's a car just seems, and that's why you see so many people arguing for, we need to have mass transit, and we need, and without getting political, mass transit works great in a heavy populated area.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily with light population.
Right. And that's what we're dealing with here in Nashville too. I'm going to send you, if I can find it again, a YouTube video that I found very interesting. It's the 10 reasons not to move to Nashville. And one of them is because we don't have public transit. We have buses, but
and
they're
let me
not.
guess who's writing the article. It's probably not somebody from Paducah,
Right. Exactly.
It's somebody from a major metropolitan area who doesn't understand the difference between flyover country and a massive city.
Right. Well, no, and see, that's the other part of this gentleman too. You watch the video, you see how what you think of it afterwards.
No,
but he actually talks about it very
favorably.
favorably.
I'd rather react to it before I've seen it.
Right. Yeah. That's good. That's that's internet usage 101, public
Yes.
or social commentary 101.
Yes, exactly.
You're one of those social justice people.
No, I'm not.
But anyway, this guy was a couple of the reasons. One was because of public transit. Two, because it's quickly becoming one of the most expensive cities in the country.
I saw that, and I have to just to interject real quickly. I saw a thing. There is a company, a conference from the Silicon Valley that has pulled out of San Francisco. They've used the Moscone Center in San Francisco for the past, 7 conferences they've had. This year they're doing it in Vegas, because of the mess that has become San Francisco, unfortunately. Right. And they said San Francisco also has some of the highest hotel rates in the country, and they kind of did a side-by-side comparison. They said San Francisco is 4th in hotel prices after Nashville and 2 other cities I can't recall right now. But Nashville was like the most expensive hotel city according to this article.
Yeah, it's amazing, and we're feeling it here. I'm not gonna lie. things are getting more expensive. Our groceries have, for the same amount that we get, we haven't changed really much of what we buy. In the last probably 2 years, has easily
Yeah.
doubled. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a very expensive city, and even going out, with the three of us, and keep in mind my daughter does not eat a lot; she's tiny. With the three of us, I never spend less than $100 on dinner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's not a high-end restaurant. That's going out to not fast food, but a local place.
Sure.
It's easy to go over $100. It's amazingly expensive, but we don't have public transit, so people are driving everywhere, and traffic's getting a lot worse, and
Sure.
it's very. But anyway, I'll send that to you. It'll be really interesting, and then we can decide whether or not we want to share it with our fans.
Yes.
But one of the other things too, which I didn't know, is Nashville, and this is landmass, not necessarily population or the city itself, but in the metro area. The metro area of Nashville is the fifth largest metro area in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got room to grow, and I guess that people will try to put it all in one category, but that the problem is public transit, or that it's expensive. But even in the face of that, it's still one of the, if not the fastest growing city in the country.
Yeah. And we still have big businesses that have announced offices here they're still coming, as far as we know.
So no matter the expense, and what they're doing is defining what the market will bear. I have a friend who's a hairdresser or a cosmetologist, and she's very talented, been doing it for 25 years or more. And she's getting to the point now where she's too busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the answer, if you're too busy, is to raise your prices.
Right.
And as much as it's problematic, there is a sweet spot. You will suddenly get the right amount of customers if you raise your prices high enough.
Yeah, that's very true.
And it kind of fixes itself, but it looks like they're still kind of seeking that out.
Yeah.
In Nashville, what you don't want to turn into is a San Francisco. And again, I'm not cutting on San Francisco. It truly is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to.
Oh yeah, I love San
But
Francisco.
it has, I love the idea of San Francisco.
That's a better way
I
to
do
say
not
it.
love what it's turned into,
Yeah.
and especially when you look at real estate prices and rentals. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What it is. So oftentimes those things, well, it's not a monthly thing, but a studio apartment is over $1 million.
Yeah, it's
and that's
ridiculous.
average.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
and so I've heard other people on that Bellevue thing I was talking about, people complaining that out in this particular area we have a large concentration of apartments. They're just average apartments and nothing special about them. But you used to be able to get an apartment here in Bellevue, 1 bedroom, 700 square feet, for about $900 a month, which is, that's not cheap, but it's reasonable,
Yeah.
especially in a growing city. But now that same apartment will go for right around between $1,300 and $1,700 a month.
that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, it's a very big jump, and a lot of people are complaining about that because they're even getting priced out of Bellevue. Which, again,
that's the
not a
thing.
high end, but not a low end place.
It's just like anything, and we've been dabbling in real estate for some time now, and we're looking at housing prices, and it's just kind of interesting. We're in the best possible position because we don't have to sell our house. It's just we're considering it for a multitude of reasons, mainly because, or largely because, at least we're it's just the two of us. We don't need a big 2,600 square foot house. So, but you look at how people price their houses in relation to how long they're in the market.
Yeah.
And it's really telling. So there is that sweet spot for everything, I think.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell one more. This is a whole other episode, and I think we should talk about it a little bit more because it's interesting. But one other quick thing, when we bought our house here in our neighborhood, we were probably the most, not that the house itself is the most expensive house, but we paid the highest price of anyone coming into this neighborhood for this house. And people were kind of like, why'd you do that? And we've lived here now, what did I say, 2 years, almost 3 years?
Yeah.
And we have houses that are selling for at least 20 grand more than we bought ours for.
Wow,
Yeah.
excellent.
So, and it's still climbing. It's amazing.
Well,
Just how
and the
fast
market
everything-
I'm sorry, the market in general is like that. Then it's ours, and we've done a lot of stuff to our house. We've been here 15 years, 15 and a half. And you look at that sort of thing. Ours has probably gone up. It's almost doubled in value.
Yeah.
Not quite, but pretty close in 15 years. And it's, gosh, but that's a luck of the draw sort of too,
Right.
depending upon where you are, because other communities around us aren't quite as attractive financially, I guess, or I guess that's the best way to put it. So, I don't need to live in the most expensive community anymore. We can drive, for us, as long as you and I can get to an airport,
Right.
or hit the interstate, it's all pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's. I want to bring this around to our next episode. I think it's interesting because there are a few
Teaser.
other things I want to. Yeah, it's a teaser, exactly.
Yep.
Kind of like we teased, by the way, and I have to bring this up before we go. How many people have reached out to me and said, "Your father-in-law is so frickin' funny."
We had so much fun with Craig.
We really did.
And I went through the entire broadcast, the entire recording, thinking it was CRAIG. And as soon as you told me it was CREGG, it made perfect sense.
Well, that's not even his first name. His first name is Randall.
But he goes with Craig because it's cooler.
Yep, exactly. Randall Craig Church.
He has gotten, you saw some of the Facebook commentary from our buddy Mike and a few other people who have said, Craig was awesome. And Bill said the same thing.
We'll have to have him on again. That was a lot of fun. And I'm sure everyone has seen the posts that I've put up. I've actually been posting some pictures, some of his trail cam pictures. Yeah, go up there and look. You should see a whole bunch of them.
I just assumed you hired somebody to do that.
Well, I'm not going to confirm, nor am I going to deny that.
Well, I would love to, but here's what I want to do. Here's the challenge. We need to get in the same room with Craig when we record next time.
Well, I was already in the same room with Craig, so
yeah, y'all. More importantly, let's be clear. I need to get in.
Okay. All right.
We need to be in Nashville or some other a central location, Paducah. That would be great.
We could do that, or we could just go to Dollywood.
Or we could go to Dollywood, which is Knoxville, right?
Yeah, a little bit further east, but yes. It's what is the name of it?
Gatlinburg?
Gatlinburg, thank you. Yeah, that general area. They have some great cabins with high-speed internet.
They do well, and so we stayed not far from Gatlinburg, about an hour and a half ride by motorcycle. But we went, and just as an aside here quickly, we went to Gatlinburg. I've never seen so many four-wheel geezer scooters in my life. There were literally hundreds of them.
Literally.
Yes. And it was amazing. So apparently these hotels say, and you'll have a nice 2-bedroom suite and 2 scooters.
Yep.
I had no concept of any of that, but it is quite a tourist
experience, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk about more. That would be another good thing to talk about. So, and if you have any other suggestions, head up to our social media places, our accounts, or whatever they call them. I say it every day, and for some reason, when I get to this point and I start talking about it, I can't. I sound like an old person.
I want you. Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I want you to just record it where you can press a button. It'll say the same crap every time.
I should do that. That's a great idea.
Well, but use like an old school tape recorder with a cassette and everything. Maybe not.
No.
I know how you don't care about audio.
No. Yeah, exactly. Well, they do say that audio is better on tape, and then they also say audio is better on vinyl. So who really knows?
Do you have a record player?
I do have a record player. We've talked about that before.
I want to talk more about that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. But anyway, head up to our website, PoddiMouths.com. You'll find links to our social media, and you can also see some of our past episodes that are sitting there, as well as something that you and I will be pre-recording at some point, maybe, or doing live. I don't know. But we have some opportunity there for you guys to spend some money to help us support this podcast. So check out some of those pages up there as well, and check out some of our partners. Anyway, John, anything else to add?
It has been a treat hanging out with you today, Nick, as usual.
Guess what? I forgot to mention this, and it's a big deal. This is our 50th episode.
What?
Yes. It's our 50th episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Not a very exciting one, but
You know what that means.
we have 50, or we have 2 more to do before the end of the year.
Then we're done.
Yeah.
Yes. Did we start January 1st?
The first week in January, yeah.
Oh, gosh, you have a good memory.
Not really. I have a computer screen in front of me.
Oh, that's what it does.
Right.
I'd rather have a computer screen in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. No, that's a bottle in front of me.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, pal.
You have a fantastic day. And yeah, that's about it. Have a fantastic day. I hope you feel better.
Thanks, pal. See you, everybody.
Bye.